you said D's.
D's?
Somebody didn't pay attention in French.
No, D's.
These nuts.
Oh,
These
God.
nuts.
Hello, this is Miranda Davis, aka the Better Davis.
Not a single person believes that.
I sure do.
It's good to aspire to have that big of goals.
Oh, Lord. Was your goal to have the biggest balls in the nursery?
You know, quite frankly, I think I came out the womb looking for the Pink Ranger, Kim.
Miranda had it with the yellow one. Huh?
Yeah. Okay.
The
Yeah,
yellow
I
one.
used to make the Power Rangers hug, and that's how I'd play with them.
That and the naked Barbies.
You know, I was sex positive at a very young age, folks. I've always been woke,
This is already over.
as the kids say.
The show's already over.
Oh, man.
Whatever.
We are the show.
We are the show.
Wait, I want to drink water at the same time as y'all. 1, 2, 3.
Hustle up
You
and
didn't even
bustle
drink
up.
at the same time.
Hustle up and bustle up and fight on to victory. U.S.L.
I find it very funny that you know all these cheers and you were not a cheerleader by
I was
any
in the
means.
band. We played for the cheerleaders.
Yeah, you wouldn't let us leave band either.
Yeah, I remember you used to make me cry.
No. You know what? You
Yes, you did.
You made band sound like it was actually like Drumline the movie.
I
No, it
remember.
wasn't.
When I was in band, it was.
No, y'all weren't playing no funk.
Oh, that's your mom.
You didn't play no LL Cool J
Oh, my.
and Petey Pablo.
I remember there was one time before an altar, boy girl practice or whatever, I couldn't hold my breath, and you were just like, you can make a home run in softball, but you can't blow in a flute. And I was just like, I'm sorry.
I was so pissed off whenever I got the saxophone instead of the
You
drums.
chose the most expensive damn
I didn't
instrument.
choose it.
Well, who the hell chose it?
It
The
chose
music
you.
teacher. Yeah. It chose me.
Oh,
You're damn right.
Man.
Apollo. Granny loves you.
Yeah, why don't we have Apollo on the camera? Don't you usually have him on camera?
Well, yeah, you're in the spot. Yeah. Hey, monster.
I love.
Aw.
Sweetie heart.
I love you, Daddy. Wow, Daddy.
He's tired. He's been up.
Oh.
I'm surprised the cats aren't meowing right now.
They've been
Oh,
meowing.
here he comes.
Oh.
Hey, Angel. Oh.
Oh, I'm back.
Come on, love.
Come here.
Come see.
Come around. Come around.
Come on, Nanny and Granny. Come on, Angel. Come on, my sweetie heart.
He's trying to find stuff.
Oh, my love.
Oh, man.
That's my sweet angel. Oh, okay. No.
Oh, shy.
Oh, here we go. Get
He
her.
looks like a little sausage.
Yeah.
So.
No. It was. I wanted to play the percussion, and Lane and Garrett got the trumpet. Lane got the damn drums, and I thought all you had to do was beat the damn drum.
I like how I left band. I left band because I just wasn't feeling it. I remember I took an art class.
To pursue a career in art.
No, I didn't want to pursue a career in art. I wanted to be a famous actress. However, I remember that was one of the first classes my grades would slip in because I thought it was abstract, but my painting of a vase just wasn't up to par. But we used to, poor Miss Russo, I doubt she's listening now, but I remember all the kids used to try, and you had Abram on the show.
Yeah.
His brother Anderson.
Yeah. No. It's Wardell.
Wardell. He
Yep.
used to make Miss Russo cry every day, and she ended up retiring.
Hey.
That's what you get for
You
saying my
know the
face
funny
is
thing
ugly.
about band was though at Youngsville, we all hated it so much, but we were so damn good.
What, in band?
That we went to state. We lost.
Oh, yeah, I
we lost by one.
I
We
remember.
were just good.
What you mean lost by one?
We got a one. So we got a one for the
don't
ensemble.
lose by one.
We got a one for the ensemble, And then what? We got a 1 for the ensemble.
Lost by 1.
Excellent is 1. The superior is 1. Then
Superior's 1,
excellent.
yeah, excellent. So we got a superior and an excellent.
So how did you, there was no...
Lost by
Because
1.
1 plus 1 equals 2.
You heard it here first, folks. 1 plus 1 equals 2.
That's not how it works. You want sweepstakes, so you want all 1s.
Yeah, well, they cheated. Those people had it out for us to begin with.
Sorry if y'all hear jolly old billiard in the background.
Oh, hey, you remember we could not get a C on our report card, or our ass was fried.
Yeah.
You know what the funniest story to this?
Well, I didn't have that problem, unlike you.
Hey, well, you studied. You studied. I mean, I didn't. The first time I ever really studied was freshman year of college, and I had to teach myself how to study. So, but I figured it out.
The sun's not out in here.
Mom, I look like I got out of Cheech and Chong's van over the past 3 days. Oh. Me and Blake actually rode in it,
Oh, gosh.
Hey, Noah, Mom, what was it? Oh, no, I figured it. I figured it out. So what I'd do was, after I got out of algebra, I'd go back to the pod, but I'd go into the study room, and I'd start doing the homework right after class, doing the notes. So that's how I taught myself how to study. And it was miraculous.
And how long did that take? How many years?
18. I could always schmooze my way sometimes. The only teachers that didn't give me good grades just for schmoozing were Bashir's and Alonso.
I had to work actually pretty hard for my grades because I didn't.
Yeah, you worked hard. I didn't.
Yeah, because I sucked at test taking. I sucked at test taking. You didn't study and did well on tests.
Being lazy.
You just didn't do your homework.
No, you didn't suck at being lazy. You did that very well.
You see, I do everything well.
Gosh. I wish I had more rebuttals, but I've been flipping eggs all day, so I guess that's where all the studying got my life. So.
I'm about to crack an egg. I'm gonna crack an egg over Mom's head if she keeps being mean to me.
Then almost start bringing up breastfeeding.
I'm sorry, Mama. I didn't mean to say that.
Little sip of poopy.
Yeah, you know
Little sip of poopy.
You know what the funniest thing is though? How pissed Mom was whenever I got that bad grade my 8th grade year on the report card.
Bad grades.
Bad grade.
You
in algebra.
Had F's.
No, I had
Your
like
report
one
card
F.
had a stutter.
I had 1.
No, you had 2. That's why you couldn't play sports. And when Dad called, did you see that touchdown he just made when I was sitting in the vehicle because you weren't supposed to play?
It was 1. I never had 2 F's on the report
You
card.
most certainly did.
No, I did not. There was an algebra with Miss Perkins. I remember that.
No.
I had an A, B, C, C, F.
Oh, you were just trying to get all the alphabets on your report card.
Well, yeah, I was trying to be consistent. They teach you that as a young kid, A, B, C, D, E, F.
That's your mama, boy.
Yeah, look, you got to be slicker than that, all right? Come on.
Man. So, my grades. I remember my first C on a report card. Your dog. I remember my first C on a report card, and I literally thought I failed at life. And it was the end of the world.
She busted our ass, so we got to see on our report card.
Not me, because I was crying.
I didn't have to. She cared. And then, but wait. His 8th grade year and your 6th grade, when you had straight A's and he got the Optimus Award with F's on his report card. And you remember? And you like, why did I work all I got of these sheets of paper? And he got the Optimus Award, and I said, this is a lesson. Your brother kissed ass.
I just knew how to talk to people.
The Optimus Award with F's on your report card.
Yeah.
1 F.
There evidently no criteria for grades for that award.
Nope. It's all about personality, baby. And that's what gets you through life.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't work for Hitler.
Oh.
Yeah, well. Yeah, Hitler was a pussy anyway.
Well, it's working for Biden.
Where
you at, Sleepy Joe?
They had today it's called DC Drano on Instagram, and they had Biden talking. They had the captions, and it had every letter in the alphabet. China, Russia.
He's just dumb, and he's not even funny. Like Like George W., who didn't
Oh.
get to practice his love of women.
You know what they say? Fool me
me
once.
fool me
Shame
twice.
on you.
Just
You fool me, can't get fooled again. You know that's actually in a rap song. No Role Models by J. Cole. I think that was brilliant. I didn't even realize that was OGW. No, OGW.
Oh, he was so likable. The poor doc can't practice their love of women.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that's crazy too. Right now is that George W. is campaigning for Liz Cheney after what she did, and the whole entire Republican Party now, with Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, and GW, is flipped. They're all bye-bye, see you bye. Everybody else is playing it smart because Trump. Oh, all of Trump's social media came back.
Maybe it's China.
Hey, China.
I'm gonna let them talk politics while I
I
sip
know we
my
ain't
water.
gonna go all
I'm not talking
politics.
politics. I'm not talking.
Hey, you told me something very interesting the other day.
Me?
Yeah, you said, well, Scott, I can't really say anything about politics because my views were based on things whenever I was messed up.
Yeah, but I haven't even. That's true. But like, also, I don't think that like changes like, my more leaning towards the left. Like I'm not liberal, but I have more, I guess, liberal views. But my political compass test told me that my political views were to the left, and then like basically it said that my political views match that of Gandhi and Stalin. And I was like, what? I was like, man.
Gandhi and Stalin?
It said in the middle of Gandhi and Stalin is where I lie.
Stalin killed 46.2 million people.
Yeah, he killed, and we're Jewish, or half Jewish. Go figure.
Well, that's worse than a disease going around that's murdering us.
Shush. We call it on this show the faux filet.
The faux filet. Yeah, I guess the one way I can kind of just like put my political views versus yours. I saw you had something on pronouns. See, I'm cool with calling someone whatever pronoun that they want.
Here's my thing. All right.
Mine's gonna be it.
That's not fair.
Hey, no. Here's my thing. All right.
Cousin it on the Addams Family.
Yeah, cousin it. Yeah.
You studied anthropology. I would think if anyone, you would be a little bit more.
Here's my thing with the gender
We
pronouns.
study gender.
Here's my thing with that. Okay, if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, I go by this." Remember that time in California whenever we went, and the server brought the salad and said, "Oh, thanks, man," and you just started laughing. And I was like, "What, Mom? Why are you laughing?" She goes, "That wasn't no man."
Yeah.
Well, I mean that whole thing. If somebody comes up to me and says personally, "Look, I go by this pronoun. If you wouldn't mind," so I'd say, "You know what? All right."
Oh shit.
I'd say, "You know what? While I'm talking to you, having a conversation, that's fine. I respect what you're asking me to do since you asked nicely." Now, if I'm having a debate with somebody on why I disagree with gender pronouns, I am not going to call somebody by their preferred pronoun because the moment that I do that, I lose the debate.
I want to be called her Royal
How?
Highness.
Because you're calling them by their preferred pronouns whenever I'm arguing the case that you were born a biological male, you are a biological male. You were born a biological female, you are a biological female. My problem with the whole gender pronouns thing is that you're trying to rewrite all the writing rubrics. You're trying to teach young kids. You're trying to teach kids. Here's my problem. You're trying to teach kids at a young age before they're able to make their own decisions at 18 years old. You're teaching them that it is normal for a guy to dress as a woman, a.k.a. drag queen story time. You're teaching them that they can choose their gender, and you're allowing them to make their own decisions to take hormone treatment whenever they're not 18 years old. I was watching something the other day. They had a woman with this guy transitioned into a woman and said, "I wish my parents never would have let me make that decision at 13 years old."
Well, yeah, but like what you're talking about right now are separate circumstances. Now, from an anthropological, like scientific point of view, yes, there is a difference between biological sex and gender, in which case you can choose your gender because we're talking about feminine, masculine, like in different societies across the world, they're like genders, like whenever they talk about like the 60 something or so like different genders, that's because like we're talking about our, our polarized, like, two-way system, like here in America specifically. However, universally, it is very much different. And some, I wish I had like some sources to cite, but I mean, we would study in our classes, like, and anthropology is much different than sociology or psychology. So like we, and we try not to get political, but we study, like, just like how we practice being human, like the practice of which and what makes people tick, and why like we have these views, not so much like, like shoving it down your throat, but just like as a fact, like, in different societies, genders are seen differently. Now, how it's, I understand the way that it's hard on both sides, whether you're left or right, to really understand what the other side's saying, because whenever people are barking at each other, it's hard to have that conversation, because it's like, you do have people who, preach something like, on the left side, like everyone's a bigot if you disagree with them. And that's not a proper way to have a conversation or see things differently. And same with like the other side of things. But there is a difference between like biological sexual organs and then genders. However, if the people like, the way both are so synonymously used, it is hard to really know what is what, and it does get very political very fast, to where no one really knows what the fuck they're talking about anymore.
And that's something we're also, I'm going to ask Mom here in a second after rebuttal, about how you raised this to, y'all didn't tell us who y'all voted for, because that's something that we talk about a lot on here, and coming from the actual source on how you raised this, because we all have different viewpoints. Now, whenever you say everybody, anthropology, the social sciences always lean more left. I really did enjoy sociology though, like the Tuskegee.
It copied off of us.
Not the Tuskegee. Freud and all that. I mean, I enjoyed doing.
Who's Tuscan?
No, the Tuskegee experiment was horrible. It was very racially based. It was horrible.
You have a lot of them done like that.
But my whole thing with the gender issue is, I told you this, I remember whenever it was 2016, just started doing work for the Trump campaign and all that. I told you, I said, they had something happen in Oregon where a group of conservatives at a voting booth were beaten down by Antifa with bike chains. And we were sitting here with another guy whose name we're not going to mention, but we were talking about it. And I said, look, I'm telling y'all right now, I said, eventually, if this shit keeps going on, where people who think differently than them and conservatives start getting beat up just for being conservatives, eventually people that think like me are going to start fighting back. And you don't want that to happen, because these are the people that utilize the Second Amendment. And I said, it's not going to be pretty. So that's where the Antifa thing came in. Well, on stage, they criticized Trump, the Biden debate, about not calling out the Proud Boys. Let me tell you something. The Proud Boys aren't a terrorist group. The Proud Boys are the guys who go counter-protest Antifa, and they're the guys who don't back down. They beat the shit out of Antifa if they try to harm conservatives. Ain't nothing terrorist about that. They ain't beating people with bike chains. They're standing right in front of you. If you're going to freaking do something, come on. But that's what I said. And I said that to everybody. I said, eventually, I told Connor, I was talking to Connor, I said, dude, if you don't get a hold of y'all side of the aisle and call that crap out for what it is, this ain't going to end well. And now we are at the point where we're at.
Well, I think it goes back to, because I will be honest, my political knowledge isn't as, like extensive as yours, but I think the whole, like, you tit for tat type mentality isn't right either, I really don't know much about Antifa. I really, but I am pro Black Lives Matters. I am,
The organization or the actual movement?
Both.
See, we believe Black Lives Matter, but not the organization. You know the owner? Black Lives Matter. But blacklivesmatter.com. Here's what you can do. You go down, and it shows where you donate money with organization. And you go through ActBlue donations. Then you go to ActBlue's website. You go down. They have to have their files publicly to show the top 10 donation funds that went, where their donations went, were to all 10 Democratic candidates.
Yeah,
All
but
lives matter. Acadian lives
Okay.
matter.
All lives
but-
do matter. Yeah.
the 13th documentary, I think, just to kind of like digress a little bit, the 13th documentary really like addresses this and the whole idea like all lives don't matter until Black lives matter. And I think it's like my perspective is like it's true that, it's easy because I mean, I'm probably gonna get some eye rolls here, but like we're white, like going
So
back
could
to
you
us,
could you
hold
walk
on,
through
let me
Compton?
Let me finish. So, the only time I've experienced any sort of like discrimination was whenever I would talk about being half Jewish. I was called a kike. I was told that like our dad was going to hell because he was Jewish. But the difference is like it's not until I say that I have that blood, But someone who's Black, like all it takes, well, for the most part, are like there's of course like different circumstances based off skin color and people's perceptions of which, but it is different, and it's not. My opinion is that it's not my place to tell someone how they should feel when they're the ones dealing with it.
Can you cite, besides the George Floyd thing, which we all agree was absolutely horrible, can you cite another incident where you can actually back up what Black Lives Matter, the organization, stands for, like police brutality? Because besides George Floyd, because everybody's in agreement with that.
Well, okay, so let's bring in. I believe that it's been a while, but I believe what I recall is that it was started by descendants of some of the like first members of the Black Panthers, which I love the Black Panthers, and let me tell you why. A lot of people refer to them as the Black KKK, and they were not. It was started by two men that fought in the Vietnam War, and they became Bobby Seale and Huey Newton, and they were coming back from war after, being drafted like other white Americans and Americans of different ethnic backgrounds, or like whether they were Asian Americans, Native American backgrounds and stuff. And I need to check the exact story, but basically what it comes down to is like they were being look at what was going on in the 60s to Black Americans. And they were like, so we're gonna go overseas and we're gonna fight for freedom of like the white man. And I think it's Huey Newton, or it could have been Bobby Seale, that like makes it sound so beautiful, where he's like, so we go across the sea to fight the yellow man for the white man who stole the land from the red man, as Black men. And it sounds like a nursery rhyme, but it's sad because it's true. And they're getting pointed at by white people holding guns, even though they risk their lives for freedoms that we all should share. And so their main thing was they would wear their veteran gear on streets, and they made a point to say that the pigs weren't the police officers. The pigs were the people utilizing their rights, or utilizing their abilities as police officers in the wrong way. Those are the pigs. Their thing wasn't that they were gonna just often fight. It was okay, well, we were veterans too, so we have the Second Amendment right too. So that's why they'd hold their guns, and they were really read into
I defend that.
And so that, but of course later, and they even discuss I keep on using vague terms such as they, but it's been a while since I've researched and everything, but I
get what you're trying to say about the 1960s, whenever they did go to war and they came back and they were treated like second-class citizens still.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Our dad was a basketball coach for 30 years. We have about 40, 50, maybe 100 Black brothers and sisters, pretty much. I mean, hell. And they all know the way that I think. I still talk.
But pretty much.
But here's where I'm going to rebuttal this thing. Here we go. So we're talking about still systemic racism involved today in society. Let me tell you why I believe that's a false equivalency. Because the Democratic Party started the gerrymandering of the districts completely in all these cities like Chicago, Baltimore. Baltimore's way worse. Baltimore might be worse than Chicago. It's all Democratic ran. Why? Because they don't fund their school systems. The first thing we have to do is get the school systems up to par. Education's key. Education is the key for this. The way you fix that, why do you still vote the same people from the same party that are failing you every time? To say, and here's where I rebuttal the systemic racism, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I believe systemic racism is involved in my day-to-day life.
Because you're not black.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not black, but here's another thing. Everybody's in control of their own fate at the end of the day. To sit here and say that because of my skin color automatically gives me an advantage over you, to sit here and say that because with my skin color, you have all these problems, piss off, man. That ain't fair.
Well, I think that's more of a generalization.
That's not fair though. How can the left point to me and say, dude, you're white, you have no say so? I said, all right, well, tell me this. Do you have any of your black friends come over to your house and talk about it? Do you ask them?
Okay, Mama's interrupting.
Well, hold on. I'm finishing my statement. I mean, Narajan was over here the other day. I talked to Keyshawn on the phone all the time, FaceTime. He goes, dude, I just wanted to call and tell you. He goes, you were right. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, the guys and I were talking like, wait, Scott Davis, a Republican? He goes, wait, he's racist? He goes, no, he's not racist. He goes, this man literally said everything that the Democratic Party has failed the minority communities this entire time. He simply said, if you don't like it, change how you vote. Stephen A. Smith even said it on CNN. He said, I think black people, the black community, should vote Republican for once and see if it changes things. And you can do that by voting locally. Locally is how you start everything off. But you have to make a change. Chicago is a shit show. Chicago is Mayor Lightweight is what we call her. Lightweight ain't doing nothing. You have more kids killed in Chicago. It's almost as bad as Afghanistan. It's Chirac. I mean, that's horrible. And you have the strictest gun laws in the country? No, don't talk to me about gun control if you can't even get your own damn city under control.
Yeah, I guess a slight digression. Oh, well, wait, didn't you have a comment?
Yes.
Yeah, you had something to say.
So, for the viewers that don't know us,
Get a little closer, please, Mom.
For the viewers that don't know us, all three children were not taught what a race was. They saw everybody as an individual person. So before any hate mail comes this way, I just needed to say that.
Tell them how you raised us. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Oh, yeah. I disagree with Black Lives Matter. I disagree with Asian Lives Matter. I disagree with Spanish Lives Matter. If you're going to be racist, you need to be racist all the way around. But why is it that we can't have White Lives Matter? And the reason I'm saying that is because I disagree with that too. I'm sorry for everything that's happened to African American culture, any other culture. Acadians were basically kicked out of a country, and history lesson, love, kicked out of a country, put on unseaworthy vessels, perished at sea, families were separated. But, and I dare anybody to question this, there were more Native Americans murdered than Jews, African Americans. I dare anybody to come up with a number, because the facts are they were here living peacefully. White people, Europeans, came, brought in all kind of diseases, pushed them in little parcels of land, expected to grow and feed their family in the sand. And that didn't happen 200 years ago. That is still happening on reservations. So before an ethnic group is complaining of the hardships they're facing, and they are facing hardships, and George Floyd, poor fella, shouldn't have happened. And there's no but here. But Native Americans are still being beat down by the government, by individuals. Do you see them on TV? Poor me, poor me? No. They are dealing with, and casinos, whether or not you disagree with gambling, that is a viable source of income on tribal lands. So they deserve that, and they deserve more. They are not milking the system. They are just trying to survive. So,
Which you have for a long
all
time.
these other, again, Black Lives Matter, all these things, the AIM movement, American Indian movement, takes precedence off of all these Black Panthers and everything else.
I think people nowadays really, they see something that happens, and
Nobody's owed shit. The only ethnic group that is owed anything are the Native Americans.
I think people nowadays really what the hell out of here!
Go eat your schnitzel.
Get your schnitzel over here, you Hitler-loving individual.
He does not love
No. She's making a bad joke.
So let me finish.
Like my
So
discomfort.
this family is Acadian, Jewish,
Sicilian,
Native American, Homo tribe. So again, we all try to, what ethnic group is more important, who's been hurt more, all this stuff. Yep, daughter, it's okay. People, why is it that when there was a war and anybody fighting the Native Americans, if they won, it was called a victory. If they won, it was called a massacre, because that's what happened. Children, babies, families were
They used to
massacred.
lace blankets, right? They used to lace blankets with smallpox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't need to lace it. They just brought it over here. But my point is, just stop with this whole damn pity party about everything. If you're racist, you're racist all the way around. But I'm just saying we need to go back and see what's still happening today on tribal lands. No running water, no electricity, the highest suicide rate in the country. So why don't we try understanding those people first, and then we can figure out what's wrong with everybody else.
Here's what I'm gonna come in and counter with you. So I listen to Ben Shapiro a lot. Ben Shapiro might be the grim reaper of debate stages. This man is the most brilliant human being I've ever listened to. He said, people nowadays say, all right, they want to take Thomas Jefferson off of currency. They want to rewrite all this and that. They want to take down statues. Okay.
They want to. They're doing
They are doing it, yeah. Here's the thing with that. If you really want to sit here and say that in today's age, somebody's questioning Thomas Jefferson and all that crap, they're saying, well, back then I would think differently than they did. No. If you were in Thomas Jefferson's era, if you were in that era, you would not, to say that you would think differently, or to say that you would think the same way you think today, compared to if you were living back then, it's preposterous. I mean, it is. It's stupid. We're all products of our generation. My whole problem is everybody points the thing to race. Every single freaking thing that happens, it's race, it's race, it's race. All right. It's just like the same thing with the Me Too movement. Same thing with that. They actually have women from the U.S. gymnastics team that just testified in front of Congress. They weren't heard as quickly as they should have been because people utilize that Me Too movement as a go-around. What's she doing?
I think she's filming me bitching.
No.
Miranda's like sitting there like, oh crap, my friends are gonna see this. I'm gonna be kicked out
I'm
gonna be kicked out of the hippie circle.
I'm a hippie.
I'm not a hippie by any means.
I'm a hippie.
But what I am saying is that the reason that this show was started is one, to have open dialogue, because the dialogue we just had was very good, very brilliant. You spoke in a very kind manner. You acknowledged.
I was pissed, actually. I get my blood boiling.
Oh yeah. You stated your points differently, because a lot of these people, all these people who watch this show, are going to completely 100% disagree with you at everything you said. Just like I disagree with you almost on everything you said.
That's fine.
But this where I state, you come in with a open mind, open dialogue. You have a conversation. That's the whole reason this show was started, to start having people come on that do think differently, to start showing people what it's like to have a different perspective and be able to sit across from the same table and talk.
Yeah.
And people can't do that now. It is pure tribalism now.
Oh, now
it is
now
100% tribalism.
I actually, because I guess going back to anthropology, one thing I wrote a thesis on was, tribalism, what you're talking about, and conspiratorial thinking that's prevalent in, modern social media culture. And, I use the example of the modern day flat earth movement. Now, let me just state this point. I am not a flat earther by any means.
So
I am on the side.
Jews are controlling the freaking laser beams.
Yeah, well, it's even okay. So my point was even the point, like, because my question was, how is this even happening? Because it's and it's not me laughing. I was just at the time because
I was laughing.
The documentary on Netflix where it's like not Over the Dome. It's the Flat Earth documentary. Is it still filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. But anyway, so it's on Netflix. Let me find so I can cite my source. Flat Earth documentary.
You're getting away with being on your phone on the show.
Whatever. Behind the Curve. There we go. And my thing was, how is this movement, being perpetuated over social media? Because it's like the first argument, because they don't associate themselves with the original flat earthers. Because the original movement had to do with the argument of teaching evolution in school as opposed to the Bible's story of the four corners of the universe and it being flat and shit like that. And I'm using general terms here, but that was my main question. And so I had devised this diagram of how to study social media from an anthropological approach. But the thing is, with the algorithms and everything on social media, whatever you're searching up, that your recommendations are due to previous. Are we good?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Plug it in underneath the couch.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm guessing this is in editing.
Yes. 100%. But yeah.
I don't want my stuff edited.
No, your stuff ain't being edited. I mean, this is a good conversation. Go ahead, keep talking.
But yeah, the idea of just tribalistic mindset and behind the curve at the end, it's an astrophysicist saying that as scientists we shouldn't be totally eschewing these people. We should be recognizing them as people who have questions, who are testing them. And it's just it's an interesting take on people you disagree with and not laughing at them in the face and just seeing them as people who have a distrust of, authority. And there's a bunch of stuff that goes into people's views and their opinions and the reasons why they see the world the way that they do, and et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that I'd found in my research are conspiratorial mindsets are a lot of times triggered by a narcissistic, way of thinking, which that in itself can be triggered by, childhood traumas, being, called stupid, bullied, or seen in a different way. And he's being a little loud in the background. But yeah, it's just kind of seeing some, practicing that humane. Should we go tell him to turn it lower?
No.
I'll text him.
No, it's fine. Hey, no, it's all good.
Okay.
Close the door, maybe.
Okay. Can you close the door, please?
Okay. He's crippled and he's German.
Uh-oh.
Call that man Hitler.
God. But yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'll wait for it.
Oh, my freaking went off on a tangent.
I know.
He's watching Porky's.
Porky's.
videos and they screaming like banshees. That's the Germans.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Them Germans piss me off with their freaking hippy-dippy language. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but
Killed them Nazis.
Just going off of that, I definitely You told me not to bring up too much of this, so I'm not going to. But I guess it's like my truth, and if this should show about our
Oh no, you
truth
can
and
bring stuff up.
So it's like because I'm in recovery, and just like I guess I have like more of a sympathetic point of view regarding it, because like as humans, one of the things that anthropologists recognize makes us humane is the ability to empathize. That's what makes us different than our primate ancestors. There's studies that are starting to disprove that. But basically, my point is the ability to empathize is based around like the ability to see things in a different perspective, put yourself in someone else's shoes, whether or not you understand it. Sympathy implies that you share a common experience and have the ability to emotionally share and like understand. With being in recovery and people's views on alcoholism or drug use, like going back to the beginning of the show, I was the smart kid and I went student of the year, like I was always getting awards, but I ended up being a 24-year-old like alcoholic with like a speed dependency, and people's views on drug are like, even like with my eating disorder, which is also like something I went to treatment for, like people's views on things are totally based off of their socialization and whatever community or experiences they have throughout their life on earth, and how we as a society choose to treat them. So like think about like the just say no things, or how people are like, it's all about choices and stuff. But I wasn't going out and partying whenever I was doing these things. I was sitting alone in my room and like studying, or like like just trying to get out of myself, and like all of the things that I was raised. That's why I didn't drink in high school, because I was like, oh, you're just not going to remember this stuff, and you look a certain way and all these things. And then, like, I ended up just drinking by myself every night. I wasn't even going out to parties when I do it. I just, like, sit in my, apartment or in my room by myself doing it. And it's just, like, all of that is a roundabout way of saying, it's really easy to have a definitive, like, view on whatever notion there is that's being discussed, or whatever thing that like is going on in our current socio-political climate. But it's like just exercising that human ability to empathize, and if you don't understand it, then to do your research, ask questions, and if you still disagree, then you disagree, and that's okay, but at least you try.
That brings up a good point. And then Mom, I've got the question for you. I think today, looking down on people for going to treatment and everything, I've been very critical of our generation, extremely critical. One thing I have noticed is that a lot of my friends who have graduated still can't find any kind of work. And the cost of living now for our generation is absolutely freaking insane. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you go back 20 years, yeah, I mean, the value of a dollar was up, right. But now the value of a dollar has gone down.
Yeah, it's shit.
And it's due to inflation, which the economics things, I sit here and freaking talk about the damn economics thing all for about 3 hours with you. But, I mean, everybody understands what's going on. It's crazy because I didn't give our generation enough of a break in saying, okay, yeah, now I see what y'all are talking about. If I have a buddy who graduated in petroleum engineering, 4.0 student, son of a gun, still serving at a restaurant. I mean, that's different. Now, whenever you say about the mental health, that correlates to mental health, which we have talked about on here literally the past, probably, right, this is going to be episode number 25. We have talked about mental health, I believe, the last 10 out of 15 episodes. 10 out of 15 of them. And I don't think it's as frowned upon nowadays. But it's like I was telling Mom. So yesterday 2 days ago, I did an episode talking about what it's like what are my rules to living a happy life? What do I do? Because I did a question and answer thing. And one of the questions was, how are you always smiling? How are you always happy? I said, well, I wake up in the morning. First thing I do, I get up and say my prayers before I even take a sip of that water, which I never use religion as any basis of an argument. Right. I never do it because people don't have the same religion. Some people don't believe. It's not how you win a case. It's not how you win a debate. I wake up in the morning before I take a sip of my water. I say my prayers because that man was on the cross for me. for a long time without water. So why should I have a sip of that water before I thank him for me waking up? All right, that's my viewpoint on it. Now, I believe firmly people underestimate the power of their minds. And with somebody who has a shitload of head trauma, who takes about 4 or 5 days sometimes during the week, it's hard to get out of bed. You have a lot of anxiety, which she said the other day, she goes, you've just been doing a very good job of hiding it from me, haven't you? Because she keeps telling me to go do something. I'm like, Mom, I said, I don't want to do that because I found a way to cope with I found a way to cope with almost everything. And that one of it came from reading that book 10, 15 times. Because now, instead of thinking that everybody's eyes are on me whenever I walk into a certain place, in all reality, not everybody's eyes are on me, no matter how damn good looking I am.
Breast milk.
It's just that's how it works. Now people, and here's where I messed up the other day, which is why I didn't upload the video. I didn't say this. They have severe cases of anxiety and depression, okay? They do. But some of y'all who post on Instagram and Snapchat, oh, poor me, don't call, don't text, this and that. You're not doing a damn thing but asking for attention. And they got people who seriously got some mental health problems. Stop with that crap. I mean, that's what downplays it. Like the Me Too movement, people who, ex-girlfriends who are mad at their boyfriends, NFL players, saying, oh, he did this and that. People take the mental health aspect of things and they utilize it for some kind of bullshit that really just downplays everything that actually needs to be taken seriously.
Well, yeah, and even just to kind of argue, because I understand I'm like following your wavelength, but some of these people, I also like as far as the attention seeking, because I remember like whenever I was young and I'd
Mom
post
looks like a mediator right
hashtag anemia or hashtag things relating to eating disorders. There's a different side of the coin, I guess. Like, of course, it's an immaturity level on my part, and I'm not going to speak for everyone who does it, but it does make me kind of wonder, like, okay, why do they need the attention? Maybe it is, like, it's like the desperation that, I guess, is, like, another way to look at it. But as far as...
I hate to stop it, but time limit-wise, we're going to have to... Because me and Miranda are going to do another separate one where we talk about the background in your transition into where you are now. So I didn't mean to interrupt you in that way, but I do want to ask Mom to the point where I brought it up about 20 minutes ago. How did you and Dad get to the point where y'all said, all right, we're not going to tell the kids who we vote for. We're going to let them make their own decisions in terms of voting. How'd y'all decide, the way that y'all decided to raise us, before y'all had kids, all right, before y'all had before you had me, did you and Dad have a conversation about how y'all were going to raise the kids?
Yeah.
All right, so...
The voting thing, my mom would take me in the voting booth with her, and she'd say, pull the curtain, because this is the one right that you shouldn't share with people.
But no, I really want to know this. So that first conversation that you and Dad had about how y'all going to raise the kids, how did that go?
Well, the first conversation was about religion, because he was Jewish and I was Catholic. I wanted to include...
I need you to scoot up a little bit more.
I wanted to include the Jewish part of it because I was a part of him, but he said, I don't practice it, so we're going to... You go to church, so they're going to be raised in church, and then they can make the decision. And I said, well, they can make the decision after that, after they get confirmed, because children need to have rules. So that was one of the things. Y'all were too young to make that decision for yourself. So that's why until you got confirmed, then you do what you choose whatever path is right for you. But we both agreed that we were going to teach y'all about Judaism, Catholicism, Native American. That was the three things that we wanted y'all to be exposed to. Number one, well, the Native Americans, because my friends were always at the house, and that's an important religion to me.
Spirituality.
Because of the spirituality involved. And Native Americans are truly not racist. They accept everyone. They associate blessings to Great Spirit. They don't waste things in the environment. They only take what they need to survive. So I guess that was the number one. We both agreed that y'all were going to be taught that number one, then Catholicism, then Judaism. I mean, that was just, we decided because that's what we believed, that we both believed in Jesus. We both were spiritual, and we wanted to honor both our backgrounds. So we wanted y'all to be, we didn't want to shove it down y'all throats and say, you will believe this way. We just, with regards to going to church and getting confirmed, it was to prepare y'all minds to, you have these processes, and you need to learn. This was my culture. Important for y'all to learn about it because it was so important for my mom, who has more faith than anybody in our world. To give y'all, rules. You follow these rules. Basically, we just wanted y'all to be good people, and it didn't matter how y'all choose to do that. But we wanted to get y'all to the point where you can have knowledge of different religions to choose what works for you.
And I think that's a brilliant way to raise us, because the way that you see kids nowadays I didn't have texting till freshman year of high school. I never forget, because I sent one long text to a girl back in 8th grade, and it was like $1.99, and Mom's like, "Who the hell? You sent a text?" She goes, "You don't have texting, Scott." But
backing up, we didn't want to have the fear factor involved. In other words, we didn't want to say you have to believe this way or this will happen to you.
That pushes kids away, and I've noticed that tremendously.
Because 50 years ago,
I noticed that with kids, that you force things on them, and they completely shift whenever they get older. Because you have some of these kids that are very they're the purple haired, freaking gender studies students on campus. You go back to their house, their parents are freaking loaded and on yachts.
Well,
but these kids just they rebelled, and we
didn't want that.
Yeah, we never really rebelled.
We didn't. The facts are that when we got married, if we'd have been married 50 years before, we'd have had a cross burning on our front yard because Dad was Jewish. And that was an important part. And just because you're Jewish, like, we had our Christmas tree up faster than anybody I knew. It's just we wanted y'all to accept everyone, to not judge anyone based on what they believed, but to choose something that would work for y'all, not necessarily an entity, a God entity, but just something that would give y'all strength and hope. So that's why we just, we didn't scaring you into believing our way when we didn't have one specific way. Neither one of us had one specific way. We believed a number of different things.
So that was a big topic of conversation, I'm assuming, before.
Yeah.
Because you had me at 29?
Yeah, well, we dated 6 years before we got married, and it took 3 years for us to get pregnant. So we were ready.
And I was the fastest swimmer.
It took forever. Miranda.
I won the race.
But it was and it was important because Dad was older, so he wanted to make sure y'all were grounded. That was the important thing, to not judge people. You and I went back and forth with the gay conversation, and I used to tell you did not choose to be born with blue eyes.
But no, here's the thing with that. But I've evolved. And that's another point I was bringing back. Like we talked about this the other day. The Republican Party's changed. I don't give a shit if you're gay anymore. I really could care less. If you want to get married, here's the thing. I do believe in traditional marriage. I have friends who are gay, as you all know, and friends who are lesbians, and they said, "Oh, you perform our wedding for us?" I said, personally, I don't know if I could.
But the two most important people in y'all life that we both agreed on were Dina and Diana.
Oh, absolutely. And look, hey, I think it definitely was. As I got older, I realized that it really doesn't matter. at whatsoever. Let people love who they want to love.
But it took you a while to get there.
It took me a long time to get to that point. It really did. I still, to this day, I am firm on believing in traditional marriage. Always will, and all my friends who are like that know.
But
I would. Here's the thing: I would never let anybody bully them. Never let anybody pick on. Never let anybody discriminate against them. And I'd always have their back. The thing to remember about that is the same people who say faggot and all that crap. Those people who call them. If somebody was to call a gay guy who I knew, I didn't know anything about this gay dude. If somebody was to call him a faggot in front of me, I'd say, bro, that ain't cool.
Yeah.
I'd stand up right there. I ain't never gonna let somebody get bullied like that. But I will always stand. I will always stand firm in my beliefs, in my principles. But I do believe that they should be able to get married. Absolutely, 100%. The thing I do draw the line at, I am on the side of the civil rights for the LGB part of the community. The LGBT. I'm not. Yeah. The LGBT. I'll be on the side of. Now all the QA, fuck all that stuff. That's just going too far. I mean, look, how much more do you? The one problem I did have was with that baker in Colorado. Whenever he refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding, and they sued him. He said, well, I'll make you cupcakes or stuff like that. He goes, but part of my it's a private business. Keep in mind, I'm a constitutional Reagan conservative. I believe in the most limited form of government possible, which is why I am pro-choice to an extent. I don't believe that my tax dollars should fund Planned Parenthood, because if I am going to call myself a constitutional conservative, that means that I don't believe the government should tell me what to do with my body. Why the hell should I let them tell a woman what to do with her body?
Especially now.
Here's the thing. I'm consistent. And look, here's why nobody, anytime somebody tries to argue or debate me, they can't. Because I am so consistent when it comes down to my views. And actually taking what my views consist of, and not just picking out certain little things like a lot of people do. You have to be consistent. The Supreme Court ruled on Obergefell v. Phelps, the gay marriage, 2015. They ruled on it. Okay. Supreme Court ruled. People who talk about Roe v. Wade being overturned, that's never going to be overturned. The Supreme Court's job isn't to overturn things. So why are we still talking about this? Why are we still talking about the gay marriage thing? This is where it draws the line for me. A private business, just like private businesses, have the right for their employees to get the Rougarou juice. All right? They have the right to say your employees have to do it. The federal government shouldn't step in. Also, the federal government shouldn't step in because a Christian baker refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding.
I don't think employees have a right to say you have to take the Rougarou juice.
If it's a private business.
This is my body.
But here's the thing: it's a private business. It's at the owner's expense. Hey, you have to be consistent whenever you're talking about this stuff. It is. Do I want more government interaction in their lives? No, I don't want that, because as a Republican, the moment we start going over the line like Democrats do, we get back to square one. We started moving away from that. We've moved away from government interference. The Republican Party's completely shifted. It's a completely different party.
My eyes are glazing over with the talks of politics because I want to verbalize, but I don't want your channel to be taken down.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Rougarou juice and the faux filet. Yeah, Republican Party, we don't give a shit about gay marriage no more. We don't give a shit about any of that crap. We believe in policy. Policy, handle it. Hey, Bubba. But other than that, no, I think it's a completely different Republican Party now. It's a more, I'd say diverse. It's a more open, like progressive type of Republican Party. Still very conservative. We are still hold those truths. But the social fabric of it.
He's the emperor that all men
now,
created equal.
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. What we'll never fold on the damn transgender athletes competing in women's sports. That is complete and utter bullshit.
That's very dangerous because I don't want my baby girl in a ring with somebody that used to be a man that's now a woman punching her in the face.
Yeah, that's what happened to my boy's sister. They let a man, and you know what? You are a man. You had a man win the women's weightlifting competition in the Olympics from New Zealand.
I don't care about the operations. Sex change.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the core thing is a man is physically stronger than a woman. And
Absolutely.
If you cannot, I mean, how can we not call that abuse? You can't do that.
I feel like my face says it all.
Well, it's people just, that's where it comes down to. People are not consistent anymore. And what I find my biggest problem, which is why I started, one of the questions I got asked, why did you start this channel? This channel, I started this thing literally to be the biggest FU to every single social media site there was. That's what I wanted this to be, the biggest FU to all of them. And just say everything. But then I realized I can go about it a different way. And just utilize it and start building up. Let me tell you something. Independence, we said this on the podcast. I said, people complain about all the time how far the left's going. I do. But as somebody if I'm working for a political campaign and I'm looking at the opponents on the left, I am hoping that they go so far left. Like Elizabeth Warren, but like Elizabeth Warren saying that taxpayer dollars should fund prison inmate sex changes. Oh, look, I don't even have to type a paragraph. I don't even have to revise a paragraph at this point on Facebook.
Well, that's a different can of worms here.
Oh, her and Bernie. Oh God.
One more.
I read Bernie's biography. I like to get to know my
Moving
enemies.
on.
Take a quick bath.
Moving on, I think that regarding animal testing, thanks for asking. We need to, instead of doing testing on animals like chimpanzees, rhesus monkeys, we need to do that testing on the death row, no chance of parole people in prison. And before anybody says it's inhumane,
What
I'm
kind
talking
of
about the people.
What kind of crime did they commit?
What crime? If it was murdering a child, if it was
Raping,
raping a child, then why the hell can't we chemical castrate them?
No, I believe in, you know what I believe? If you raped a child, if you raped anybody, I believe the best way to go about it, not chemical castration.
Chop the shit off.
With a butter knife.
So why
slowly.
These poor apes didn't do anything to us. Why are we testing chemical? Do it on those people.
Now you can see the difference between the animal aspect and and people killing the sharks too. You see, all right. Before she comes back in, I am the favorite child, right? Yeah.
Boy, shut up. Shut up.
Mom always say I'm her favorite.
No, God. You need to finish up with your mother because she has to go pee.
Yeah, I got to drain the main vein too here in a second.
Drain the main
When are we
vein.
gonna do our?
Yeah, y'all doing it now.
No, we're gonna do it another night. Where
No, do it now. Let me leave.
No.
Oh, I'm finished.
I gotta. Hey, this is an hour long. It takes a long time to edit that.
Okay, so
I have to upload this one before I can do
cancel
ours.
me and do her.
Well, no, I have to upload this one before I
Bye.
can
Nice
upload.
talking to y'all.
No, you gotta sit down while I close.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna close right here.
I need to urinate.
Shit, sit down, woman. Sit down. Well, thank you for tuning in to Unwoken, the #1 podcast in the world. My mama told me that. My mama's always right. Not factually correct, but we are. Not factually. That is the correct.
That's my next tattoo.
That is the correct
If
use
anyone
of
ever
that word.
questions me, I'm factually correct.
Factually incorrect. Shit. In my defense,
I want it in scripture on my fucking neck.
I'm gonna take you by your
Actually
calzones and I'm gonna
correct,
freaking
Nick.
twist them on a flagpole.
I don't wear consoles.
I do.
You got to air that out, like Mama says.
You know what?
I do wear consoles.
We talked about that the other day, about letting them rip in front of people. We ain't getting into that again.
I don't even have a butthole.
The moment y'all two found out, that crap bothered me.
No, we didn't put that much.
You
thought
never
into
let
it.
one rip in front of me until high school.
Yes, I did.
I don't do that.
I used to fart on you when you were sleeping.
I don't do that.
No, you did not.
I don't.
I don't think about it.
Bullshit.
We didn't think about it.
I don't. I am not included in this whatsoever.
Alex is the only woman in our family that has not let one rip in front of me.
I don't.
Jesus Christ.
I don't do that.
Thank you, Alex.
That's why. Well, when you come on the side of me and say I just tooted.
Mom, stop. We're editing this out. We're editing this out.
Well, on that note, before she breaks my laptop, thank you for tuning in. That is Mo, the Bood.
God bless America.
God bless America. Miranda, Mama, and I'm Scott Davis. God bless and take care. We'll see y'all next week. Go Cajuns.